We're back on the record and now we're in open session. Next item on the agenda is to report on actions taken in executive session. First, the commission deliberated in the matter of In re James E. Thorson, complaint number 2023-7 pursuant to RIGL section 36-14-13 subsections 8 and 9. No decisions of any kind were made during the deliberations. Then the commission voted 7-0 to return to open session. And here we are. And so the next item on the agenda is discussion and decision / vote in the matter of James E. Thorson, complaint number 2023-7. In order to move it first, I'm going to ask whether there's a motion to find that the prosecution has established by a preponderance of the evidence that the respondent, James E. Thorson, while director of the Rhode Island Department of Administration, committed a knowing and willful violation of Commission Regulation 520-RICR-00-00-1.4.2 of the Rhode Island Code of Ethics by receiving a gift on March 10th, 2023, having a fair market value in excess of $25 from Scout Ltd, a business that had a direct financial interest in decisions that the respondent was either authorized to make or to participate in the making of as part of his official duties. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second by Commissioner, motion by Commissioner Susie, second by Commissioner Callahan. I'll bring it up to skip to discussion.
This is a really difficult discussion that we've had. But Mr. Thorson, as a longtime state employee in a very senior position, overseeing the Department of Administration is kind of overseeing the world in Rhode Island, right? You oversee every employee and department. So we also know that you're well versed in the rules of ethics and the ethics law. And you would expect your 21,000 employees when you were at the Department of Administration to follow the ethics law as well. I was very concerned that the question about payment only came up after the fact, and maybe after conversation with other state administrative officials. I'm a state employee, and it has been ingrained in me that over $25, I'm gonna have to get used to changing that amount. It's a little bit more now, but we couldn't accept anything. And we all know that working in state government. I understand it was a difficult trip to Philadelphia that day, and things became probably confusing with what happened there with an employee who was having some issues. But I expect better of someone who was leading the Department of Administration. So that's where I stand on this.
Further discussion?
Well, I think that I think that it's clear that the three elements were there. That there was a gift. The gift was more than $25, and the gift was from an interested person as defined. What was less clear to me was whether the prosecution made the case that it was a knowing and willful violation, as I understand both the Comedy decision, the Dupree decision, and the Flaherty decision. So that's what I've been wrestling with this, and that'll have a big influence on how I vote on this matter.
No, I would just say I also appreciate the context of what we've been trying to look at with the facts on the table, but also the the trend line of that 72 hours and the various priorities that may have shifted throughout that time frame. And then trying to bounce that off of what my colleagues have shared with the group as well.
Further discussion? Commissioner Starry?
I found the witness's testimony to be credible. I believe that the Flaherty decision is part and parcel of the obligation of the prosecution regarding the deliberativeness standard. I have significant reservations that I will express in my vote that the prosecution, although it tried mightily, simply did not overcome the respondent's presumption of innocence and meeting the material elements of the offense charged.
Any other commissioners have discussion? I want to say, from my perspective, I thought Mr. Thorson was credible, as Judge Samarini says. There's no question what the facts were, what happened in Philadelphia, nobody can deny them. And I think that my perspective also comes down to knowing and willful. And I do believe there's an element of deliberateness to this. I think that Commissioner Callahan's comment about the unfolding period of time affects my view as well. This was a rather unusual set of circumstances that unfolded from Thursday through Monday. I believe that Mr. Thorson acted reasonably in the way that he handled the problem, including paying on Monday morning, or as soon as he knew that he needed to get a bill. I don't find the delay between Friday and Monday to be of consequence. I don't think it was an after the fact cover situation. And I do believe that Mr. Thorson exercised a reasonable degree of monitoring and restraining Mr. Patton during the events on that day, including his asking about certain things that Mr. Patton had acquired during the time. So I can't help but also agree to a certain extent with Commissioner Susie. But I still come down to the question of knowing and willful.
I agree with the chair a bit. I also struggled with knowing and willful, and also with Supreme Court's language on what that means. I don't think Flaherty is frankly either here nor there. It's just quoting Dupree and Carmody. Either way, whether the act needs to be deliberate in that you weren't going to pay and didn't pay, that's a deliberate act, or later on in the process, my vote would come out either way, because I think that's the element that's missing here by preponderance of the evidence. I will say that I agree with Commissioner Susie that I expect better of the director. You have an unfolding situation. We were out the door and didn't want to deal with it. I wouldn't either, but I just am disappointed, and I certainly all are, that it came to this. However, poor managerial decisions are not necessarily a violation of the code of ethics.
I agree with Commissioner Peterson, particularly with the comments made by Mr. Patton. And maybe there was could have been a strong degree of handling that situation for that part of this.
Call the question. The motion before the commission is to find that the prosecution has established that James E. Thorson violated the gift regulation. I'll take a roll call vote. Commissioner Susie,
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson,
Nay.
Commissioner Browner,
Aye.
Commissioner Callahan,
Nay.
Commissioner Centarini,
Nay.
Commissioner Revenue,
Nay,
the chair votes nay. On count two,
So that count is
does
dismissed.
that count? Yes.
That count failed. On a 2 to 5 vote, so that count is dismissed.
On count two, I will again phrase it in the positive. Is there a motion to find that the prosecution has established by a preponderance of the evidence that the respondent, James E. Thorson, while director of the Rhode Island Department of Administration, committed a knowing and willful violation of Rhode Island General Laws, section 36-14-5 subsection D of the Rhode Island Code of Ethics by using his public office to obtain financial gain other than that provided by law for himself in the form of a free private lunch at a restaurant on March 10th, 2023. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Callahan, is there a second?
Second,
Second by Commissioner Susie. Discussion?
Yeah, no, I would begin with, I don't believe a case was made, by any stretch that, Mr. Thorson used this opportunity, and used his public office, to obtain any financial gain for himself. There seems to be a pattern of behavior at his service in state government that has been, documented as, very high level. So I would share that with the group.
Any discussion for anyone? I think I will simply say that much of what I said on count one also applies to count two. But I agree with Commissioner Callahan that there isn't, I believe, the slightest evidence this was done for personal gain. Whatever else we want to call it, it was not a matter of personal gain. So I will call a question on whether Mr. Thorson committed a violation of section 36-14-5 by using his public office to obtain financial gain for himself. Commissioner Susie,
no,
Commissioner Peterson.
No,
Commissioner Browner.
No.
Commissioner Callahan.
No,
Commissioner Centarini.
No.
Commissioner Revenue.
nay,
And the chair votes nay.
So that count is dismissed also.
Count three. A little bit longer. Is there a motion to find that the prosecution has established by a preponderance of the evidence that the respondent, James E. Thorson, while director of the Rhode Island Department of Administration and a procurement official for the Department of Administration, committed a knowing and willful violation of Rhode Island General Laws, section 36-14.1-2, subsection B, by accepting free goods or services in the form of a private lunch on March 10th, 2023, valued at over $100 for his personal use from Scout Ltd., a state vendor who had sold services to the Rhode Island Department of Administration and its Division of Capital Asset Management and Maintenance during the preceding 24 months, and who the respondent had reason to know would be making a proposal for the sale of services to the Division of Capital Asset Management and Maintenance and the Department of Administration through the execution of a master agreement within the succeeding 20 months. That's a long motion. If anybody wants me to repeat it, please let me know. Is there such a motion?
Move it.
Motion by Commissioner Centarini, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Rabideau. Discussion.
I would just like to clarify that same as the last motion, I don't think that there was intent for personal use. I don't think there was intent for financial gain. I just believe that there was an apathy to following the ethics code, to allow for the gift to take place. But I don't think that this was about personal use.
Any other?
I just, personally, I didn't find, innocent, anything reasonably objectionable with regard to the respondents' behavior during the trip. It was a confusing situation following earlier day of heightened responsibility before the legislature. And I just moved this question to get a vote.
Understood. Any other discussion? There's a couple of things I just wanna. Just because the arguments were made. It was in excess of $100. It does meet the element of the statute. It was from Scout Ltd. It does meet the element of that of the statute. Those things I have no question about, but I want to clarify that because the point was made during arguments. But as I've said before, these were extraordinarily messy circumstances, and I think Commissioner Santorini has just made the same point, which is that between Thursday evening and Monday morning was an expression I can't use, but it was all hell had broken loose. So I can't find here either that this was for personal use. Anyone else? Call the question. The roll call vote, Commissioner Susie,
No,
Commissioner Peterson,
Nay.
Commissioner Browner,
No.
Commissioner Callahan, nay, Commissioner Santorini,
No.
Commissioner Rabideau,
Nay.
and the chair votes nay. Before we go any further, I want to acknowledge both sides. This commission has never been through, this member, this commission right here, never been through an adjudication. And so to a certain degree, we were dependent on what you presented to us. You presented very fine cases from the prosecution and from the defense. It made our job extremely difficult, as I'm sure you can tell from the vote on certainly count one. It was not an easy call. But we want to express our appreciation to both sides for the way you presented this case to us. And the decision does not in any way reflect on the efforts the council has made in the case. So with that said, I think the next item on the agenda is a motion to adjourn.
So we'll
second,
Motion by Commissioner Rabideau, second by Commissioner Susie. I won't ask for discussion. Commissioner Susie.
aye.
Commissioner Peterson.
Aye.
Commissioner Browner. Aye. Callahan. Aye. Santorini.
Aye.
Commissioner Rabideau.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you, everybody.